And look at that over that seam.
Wow.
But the Viking will not do that. I guarantee you.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so the perfect. But I wanted an even more perfect buttonhole than that because Marcia showed us those hand stitch buttonholes. So if you look at my jacket, those I did on this machine with the embroidery section of it. So I'm going to go to embroidery mode. And Bernina has a software, it's the only software that I know of that allows you to digitize buttonholes. So what you do is very simple. You select the size of the buttonhole you want, the number of buttonholes, and then like the ones on my sleeve, I digitized. Let me just show you. I wasn't ready, but I can bring this up. It's called embroidery software. So unfortunately, it didn't have that nice beading around the buttonhole that you see the things that Marcia showed us. So I thought for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, how am I going to do this? And they don't have a foot that will feed the gimp thread in. And I thought and thought and thought, and I figured it out yesterday.
Really?
And then after I did the ones on the cuffs, I go, I want that beading. So I go, I could do that. So I went back into the software and added that. So while that's still thinking, oh, sorry. And thank you very much, Marcia. I'm sorry I used a lot of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to go into embroidery, and I'll show you the one that I did. So this is the buttonhole for the lapel. It's the larger one. So I'm going to, it's going to tell me to put my, so I only use this machine to embroider buttonholes because I have a commercial embroidery machine that's a lot faster and has 16 needles, so I'm going to move it. Foot. And I'm going to do it in green thread so you can see it. And, okay, so what I'm doing is I asked it to do a basting stitch around it to hold the fabric down, and this is sticky stabilizer, so it just holds down. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch it. And one thing about the Berninas that my other ones don't do is I can control the speed with my foot pedal, my Janome. You can't. It goes fast or off. So. Okay, so. Now it's going to stitch this basting stitch around it. Just to hold the fabric down, it's going to ask to cut it. So I can use this file I designed in Bernina software in any embroidery machine, my Janome, my Viking, or anything like that. And so now, what I did is I programmed, here's my, oh, excuse me. You can imagine all the toys I have at home. What am I looking for? Did I take it out? Here it is. Okay. What I did is I asked it to stitch like a placement line for the gimp thread. So it's going to stitch that. That's the only function it has. So there's my placement line. Here's my gimp thread. So this I have to do manually, and that's why I like the Berninas, because I can control the speed and have it stitched like I'm stitching myself. And so this is my other hand. So this is all programming. I'm going to start it. And what it's going to do a zigzag over the gimp thread. Okay, I stopped it. So now, very careful, this is the hardest part. But I've done it a few times testing. Let me pull it through. And now I'm just going to, it knows where to go. I'm just going to, using my placement line, you can imagine how hard this was with black thread. I couldn't see where the placement line was. It takes a while to go over the eye. this is straight, I can go faster. So this is just to put to place the gimp thread in. And if they had a foot that had a smaller eye than this one did, I can feed it through, but none of my machines have a foot that would work that has a smaller eye. So I'm going around the back loop. So this takes some technical expertise. Now I'm straight again, so I can go. Okay, so this is after I cut this off. So now the gimp thread is in, right?
Yep.
And I don't think anyone in the world has done this, so you're seeing it first. Okay, so now I can start it and have it do the buttonhole. It's going to cut the thread because it thinks there's a color change. That's going to do the buttonhole. Thread cut. Stop that because I didn't cut that good enough. Oh, here's my, I was wondering what I need. Oh, it's also nice to have a machine with a knee lift because it acts like a third hand, and Viking doesn't have any machine that does that. So let me cut that off and let it rip. So it's stitching over the gimp. And in the Bernina website, when I wrote the articles on the christening gown, I do a segment on buttonholes where I do everything but the gimp thread in it. So if you wanted to see. Now I'm going to do the beading around the edge, which I figured out how to do yesterday afternoon.
And beading, do you mean just like special knotting? Or?
Yeah, so it looks more like, and I could bring those closer with this thread. It looks better with the other thread. So now the next thing to do is to cut that. I was just telling Marcia and Ginny, I'm going to have it cut it, the slit.
Has that too?
Yep.
Unbelievable. It's just so perfect.
So you know, if you've ever done buttonholes, and I've done it, I've done the jacket a long time ago, and when it came to do the buttonholes, I'd cut through the buttonhole, and that whole jacket was ruined. No way to fix it. So I figured, well, we have this is called a cut work tool accessory Bernina has. Bernina's is nice because it's one, and you just, for the different angles, you just turn the dial. For the other ones, you have to take the needle out and put another one in. But we're just doing a straight stitch. And it just goes in like a needle. And let me tighten it up. And this is going to see that line right there. It's like a straight line. It doesn't know whether if it's feeding thread or not. I hope I have my thread sensor off. We'll find out. It's sinking. I hate this machine. It just sinks too much. Just do it.
It doesn't keep asking you. Are you sure?
Oh,
Are you sure?
I need to turn that sensor off. Yeah, sleep. Go to sleep. Okay. Now it'll work. It's looking for a thread. It says you don't have any thread in there. And it's cutting.
It's like a little saw?
Yeah, it's a blade.
Does it stop when it knows it's done, or do you stop it?
It's done. It's at the end of the file, and there it is. So let me just cut this off properly.
Oh, I see. So this is disposable.
Yeah,
You
this
change
is
that.
called sticky stabilizer, which I only use for buttonholes. I don't like to use it for anything else.
So it's a buttonhole program?
Yep,
Okay.
it's a stitch file actually.
Mhm.
Do you want to see my favorite?
Yeah.
So where you buy the machine, sewing glass?
How what?
You buy from a sewing glass?
No.
Machine.
Out at another dealer.
Where?
You can buy it there. They have it there. I didn't buy it there though.
Where you buy it?
In El Cajon.
Is there a particular store or a dealer or something?
Yeah. I don't have a Bernina dealer that I bonded with in San Diego. And there it is with the hole.
So what's on the back from what that paper was?
That's called stabilizer. And that's keeps it
Is
keep it stable.
it
So it
still in
stays on
there?
there?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And you can't get that out?
No.
So does that show?
Yeah. Well,
Huh.
all embroidery uses stabilizer. But
That's amazing. That is incredible.
anyone want like?
Mhm.
Just